One of the most common things that I come across when I'm mentoring a musician is that, I'll help them get started and to have the confidence and the belief in themselves to get started on actually pursuing it. But, there is always a time in the journey, and I've experienced this many times, where you hit a roadblock, whether it be to do with knowledge, where you don't know how to do something, you don't know how to organize a gig or get gigs or network, or, you can't find the right band member that fits your band. It can be anything, right? It can be anything in life too. When we find a barrier that requires us to step outside of our comfort zone, or to take a leap of faith, or to keep trying and failing, courage and strength are things that are earned. And I don't think that there's ever an obstacle or a leap of faith that you need to take that is going to feel 100% secure. A lot of the times in this journey, a lot of the times in pursuing creativity as a career or a lifestyle, you're going to come across these obstacles, right? What sets apart the greats? What sets apart people who make it? What sets apart people who build a life that they want to live is that they feel the fear, they feel the uncertainty, they feel the failure, and they feel the not knowing, and they keep going and they keep pushing forward. And I had someone recently, I had noticed that they had just stopped making music. They'd stopped, working with their band. And I chatted with them and I was like, what's the deal? What's going on? And they said that, they had a band member that didn't work out, and it was just really discouraging, and they were so adamant that it was, a failure, right? And this is such a huge thing with musicians, especially ones that are just starting out, is that these things, they feel huge and they feel massive, and they make you question, like the amount of times that I've questioned whether or not I should be doing this because I've hit a roadblock or I've failed at doing something, and I'm like, damn, like I probably shouldn't be doing this, like this is probably it's probably a sign I shouldn't be doing this. But those things are the most important things to keep pushing past, to throw things at the wall and see what sticks. And this is a thing that you have to commit to. You have to commit to failure. You have to commit to not knowing. You have to commit to taking leaps of faith. You have to. It's a requirement if you want to build whatever it is that you're wanting to build. And it, of course, again, it doesn't have to apply to music. I remember when I wanted to put on a house show, and there was a couple of bands that I was huge fans of, one in particular, and I went to one of their shows, and I'm standing there and I'm like, this is so great, I really want to play a show with them. And we had played one show at this point, and it was for my birthday, and it was a free show just with our friends. And I'm standing next to this table that has some water on it, and I'm having a glass of water, and the front man's walking towards me, and inside of me I was like, oh my gosh, this is my chance, I need to talk to them. But I was terrified, but I knew it was one of those moments where you know that if you don't do it, you're going to regret it, and you're going to wish that you had. And so I felt so scared, so nervous, and I just did it anyway. I walked straight up to him and committed to it. I'm so glad that I had done that, and this has happened so many different times with so many different kinds of things. What I would say to people who deal with, hitting a wall, having a little failure, and second guessing whether or not they're actually doing the right thing, I want you to think to yourself, your passion and the love that you have for what you do, the vision that you have in your head for what you know you could birth into the world, what you feel inside of you that is waiting to come out. You know, it's like chiseling at stone. You have to uncover what's inside. And it does take work. And it does take leaps of faith many times over. But that passion and that love and that want, that need to live a life where you are doing what you want to do, where you're expressing yourself creatively, everything that you want, right? That has to outweigh all of the fear and all of the doubt. I think it's okay, you know, when you have a failure, maybe take a day, you know, be disappointed, be upset, feel whatever it is that you feel you need to feel, because it's okay, and you shouldn't ever feel guilty for feeling failure or feeling any kind of disappointment or upset. You know, there should still be space for that. But what I don't want you to do is to let it stop you from continuing, because there is so much that you haven't experienced yet. There's so much that is just waiting to be, you know, waiting to be experienced by you and waiting to be created by you. And the more that we feel our fear, and we do it anyway, because our passion and our love for what we do and what we want out of life outweighs that fear, that is when you really, really do see results. And it doesn't have to be anything other than, you know, the simple fact that you're doing what you love. It doesn't have to be wildly successful. It doesn't have to be anything grander than, you know, your circle of friends. And if you don't have a circle of friends, if you're doing it solo, then it's the enjoyment that you get by doing it with you and your connection to yourself, right? And you just never know what's going to come from that. You never know who's watching. You never know who is going to want to work with you. And there's just so much to gain from doing what you do. And even if you end up being at the end of your life and what you have to show for it is, you know, some records that you made, some art pieces that you made, whatever, and you ended up settling down and having a family, you have a discography of artwork that you've created that will be inherited by your family, friends, you know, things that a small circle can enjoy can be still just as fulfilling as a bigger circle, you know. We can still be creative and not be in the public eye. I think it's just about getting ourselves to the right mental place where the commitment to seeing it through is greater than the fear and the doubt that we have in our minds that just stops us, because it does. That's all it does, is stops us. Our body is trying to keep us safe. You know, it's like a biological mechanism where our comfort zone is our comfort zone for a reason. It makes us feel safe. It makes us feel stable. But if we never step outside of that, we're never going to see how amazing life can get, because I truly do believe that your passion and what you want to do in life is something that you should follow, because it may end up leading you somewhere that you never thought that you'd be. I never thought that I would be doing this. I never thought that I'd be giving advice and having a YouTube channel. It just wasn't something that was on my mind, but I'm so glad that I'm doing it. And I don't know what's going to come from it, but you know, every single time if I get a mean comment or if a video doesn't do as well, yes, it could make me feel bad. And sometimes, it's a little bit like, oh, okay, that's a bit disappointing. But I know it's more important to bounce back from that, to see it from a healthier perspective, and know that, like, if I zoom out in the grand scheme of this whole thing, I'm just doing something that feels good for me. I can delete nasty comments. I don't have to put up with that. And I also don't have to worry about numbers, because I'm putting out there the knowledge that I have, and whoever's meant to find that is going to find that, and they're going to need it, and hopefully take my advice and live a better life. So I want you to think to yourself, how badly do you want it? How badly do you have that itch inside of you? And can that outweigh the fear in general? Because if you're just starting out, if you haven't played a show yet, if you haven't released any music yet, trust me, it's not as bad as you think it's going to be. And if anyone says anything about what you're doing, if anyone's mean to you about it, it's just, who cares? To be honest, because eventually you're going to do it for so long that it'll be normal, and it'll be like, oh, that's that person that does that thing, instead of, oh, this person that didn't do that thing is now doing that thing that's so embarrassing. It's embarrassing to not even try. Okay? It's embarrassing to care so much about what other people think. And it is courageous and it is strong to take a leap of faith and dive headfirst into a journey that is going to be fulfilling for you. Doesn't that just sound so much better than worrying about that? But I get it though, because, I've been there, and it's taken me a lot of work to get out of that. And I think a lot of that has just come from, like, I need to do this. I need to start putting my stuff out there. And I will feel anxious about it, but it's you just got to press the button, and you just got to share it and be happy about it. Be proud of yourself. Celebrate it. You don't have to celebrate things with other people. You can celebrate that by yourself. Because it's a bonding experience with you, and that is so important, because when you have a connection with yourself like that, and when you can build that happiness that you experience with yourself, then it's kind of no one's business, and no one's opinion really matters, because it makes you happy. And if somebody wants to stop that, then that's weird. As always, I really hope that this video helped, and I'll see you in the next one.